All right, guys. So we got to talk about some voicemails that should probably land Joe Biden and his son Hunter in jail. In my opinion, because Hunter Biden and his laptop has been the subject of an ongoing Department of Justice investigation that, in my opinion, should result in criminal charges, right? Which is hilarious because the Democrats are desperately searching for criminal charges against Trump that they're not going to get, right, with the January 6th committee hearings. However, the real criminal, right, they should be going after is actually Joe Biden, okay? Because this leaked voicemail proves that Joe Biden lied. He lied, okay, when he said that he had not had direct conversations with his son about his business dealings in Ukraine and China. But before I get into this bombshell voicemail, I want to remind you guys on where we are up until this point in regards to the Joe Biden, Hunter Biden laptop situation, right? And you heard me correctly. I'm saying that correctly. It is a situation because that's exactly what it is.
His son, Hunter, joining the then vice president on the official visit to Beijing. Unknown to the press back then, Hunter Biden was forming a Chinese private equity fund, planning to raise money, including from Chinese investors. 10 days after the Biden's trip, Shanghai authorities issued the fund's business license.
Then Vice President Joe Biden had dinner with his son Hunter, along with Hunter's business associates from Ukraine, Russia, and Kazakhstan. And the day after the dinner, a Burisma executive sent a note to Hunter, quoting, "Dear Hunter, thank you for inviting me to D.C. and giving an opportunity to meet your father and spend some time together."
Hunter's lucrative business dealings often included giving as much as 50% of his earnings to his dad.
The text read, quote, "I hope you all can do what I did and pay for everything for this entire family for 30 years. It's really hard, but don't worry. Unlike Pop, I won't make you give me half your salary."
And Hunter introduced me as, this is Tony, Dad, the individual I told you about that's helping us with the business that we're working on and the Chinese.
The email reads this way, quote, "At the moment, there's a provisional agreement that the equity will be distributed as follows. 10 held by Hunter for the big guy."
I 1,000% sit here and know that the big guy is referencing Joe Biden. I met with the former vice president in person multiple times.
A newly revealed text message shows Bobulinski was apparently warned by business partner James Gillier, "Don't mention Joe being involved. It's only when you are face to face. I know you know that, but they are paranoid."
Chinese executives admitted to reporters that they were actually introduced to the vice president by Hunter Biden.
Hunter and the then vice president seen with a pair of Mexican billionaires. At the same time, Hunter had been working on energy deals in Mexico.
Joe Biden also had Hunter and his business partner fly on Air Force Two to Mexico.
The president agreed to pay Hunter Biden's legal fees for his business dealings with a Chinese-controlled company. Hunter's assistant reportedly telling a pair of Biden aides, quote, "I spoke with Hunter today regarding his bills. It is my understanding that Hunt's dad will cover these bills in the short term."
There is photographic evidence of Biden on a golf outing with both his son Hunter and a man called Devin Archer, who was another member of the Burisma board.
We also know that Devin Archer in that picture had a meeting in the White House, one-on-one meeting with Joe Biden about a week before they joined the Burisma board.
His closest business partner, Hunter's, made at least 19 visits to the White House and other official locations, including a sit-down with then Vice President Joe Biden in the West Wing.
I have never discussed with my son or my brother or anyone else anything having to do with their businesses, period.
Yeah, and that ain't even the worst of the stuff, right? That's in that laptop, to be quite honest with you, right? I'm talking about things involving, Ashley Biden and Joe Biden. I really can't talk about, there's all types of crazy stuff going on in that laptop that isn't even mentioned, okay? But you don't really need that stuff to, in my opinion, nail Joe Biden to the wall, okay? But before I get into that, let's go ahead and actually play the newly leaked voicemail that proves Joe Biden was lying when he said that he never spoke with his son about his business dealings. I mean, we already knew he was lying anyways, but this voicemail is just like smoking gun evidence of that. Take a listen.
Hey, pal, it's Dad. It's 8:15 on Wednesday night. If you get a chance, give me a call. Nothing urgent. Just want to talk to you. I thought the article, at least the thing online, that's going to be printed tomorrow in the Times, was good. I think you're clear. And anyway, if you get a chance, give me a call. I love you.
Yeah, so that is Joe Biden basically saying, hey, I need to talk to you, son, about an article that's going to be printed in the New York Times about your business dealings, okay? Which, again, suggests that he had direct conversations or was having direct conversations with his son about his business dealings, which, again, goes along with everything else you just saw in the video I showed you earlier, in which it was obvious that Joe Biden is involved, that he was using his influence, he was selling his influence through his son. His son was doing that, okay, when he was vice president and when he was out of office, okay? And the worst part about this, guys, is that if you take a look at the business deals in conjunction to the soft on China policies from the Biden administration now, I think it's time for a special counsel into Joe Biden, right, and his administration, and Hunter Biden and his business dealings as well, too.
Peter Schweitzer has been exposing Joe Biden's China ties for years. No one knows more about the Biden family business than you do.
This is just further evidence of what we've known based what's on the laptop, what's based on other reporting, and that is that Joe Biden and Hunter Biden were talking regularly about his foreign deals. And when Joe Biden has said repeatedly, both as president and as a candidate, that he never discussed his foreign dealings with his family, that he's lying. There's no other word for it. And here's the thing, Jason. I mean, we need to put this into relief contrast when it comes to the Bidens dealing with China. What we've seen in the last 18 months during the Biden administration is retreat by 1,000 small steps when it comes to American policy towards China. You know, you basically now have the administration saying that it's going to be okay for Americans to own shares in companies that are blacklisted, Chinese military-linked companies. That's a policy reversal. You had them get rid of the China initiative at the Department of Justice to crack down on Chinese acquisition of American technology. You have them getting rid of tariffs on solar panels. China, of course, produces 80% in the world. You have them talking about getting rid of tariffs in general on China. You can look at their treatment of the company Huawei and TikTok, the reversals in those areas. I could go on and on. The bottom line and the most stunning thing, Jason, is all of those retreats by the Biden administration on China, they received zero concessions in return. These were all giveaways to Beijing. And so we have to have an honest conversation in this country. Does the flow of Chinese money to the Biden family, tens of millions of dollars, influence American foreign policy? We see news articles all the time, Jason, about big tech and big oil and Wall Street influencing the legislative process. Why shouldn't we have that conversation about Chinese money flowing to the Bidens? The deals happened shortly after Joe Biden, as vice president to Barack Obama, was literally appointed the point person on U.S. policy to those countries. Barack Obama comes out with a statement and says, Joe Biden is our point person on China policy. And within a matter of a couple of months, Hunter Biden is collecting major deals from Chinese businessmen. Same thing in Ukraine. In 2014, Vladimir Putin invades Ukraine. Barack Obama appoints Joe Biden his point person on policy towards Ukraine. Within 4 weeks, Hunter Biden signs up with Burisma, the corrupt energy company, and starts banking $1 million a year in fees. I mean, it's so blatant, it's so there, and the lack of curiosity by the mainstream media, the lack of interest in this is astonishing.
And what does the White House have to say about this? Well, as per the usual, they're silent or avoiding answering the question, playing dumb.
Why is there a voicemail of the president talking to his son about his overseas business dealings if the president has said he's never spoken to his son about his overseas business dealings?
Well, first I'll say that what the president said stands. So if that's what the president said, that is what stands. And secondly,
about a New York Times article concerning Hunter Biden's business dealings, and he says, I think you're clear. How is that not him talking to his son about his overseas business dealings?
We're not, from this podium, I am not going to talk about alleged materials from the laptop.
So are you disputing that it's the president's voice on the voicemail?
I am not going to talk about alleged materials on the laptop.
Are
it's
you
not
disputing
happening.
Then that it is not?
Peter, I refer you to his son's representative.
yeah, so here's the bottom line when it comes to all of this, guys, because I think a lot of us are like, okay, well, we've heard about Hunter Biden's laptop and his emails. He's under investigation for the last 2 years or so, right? When are we going to get some action, right? When are we going to get some action? And basically, it comes down to the Republican Party, guys. And when the Republican Party takes back power in the House and hopefully the Senate as well, too, in the midterms, this will determine how strong the Republican Party actually is. Because in my opinion, based off the overwhelming evidence that we have against Hunter and Joe Biden should at the very least have January 6th / 9/11 style hearings on him and his son's corrupt business dealings, right? And if the Republican Party actually has some real cojones, some big cojones, they would bring him up on impeachment, right? They would impeach him, okay? The same way they did Trump, okay? However, I wouldn't hold my breath that this is going to happen because the Republican Party at the national level, for the most part, is useless. Every now and then, they'll get some wins like overturning Roe v. Wade. But for the most part, they're spineless, right? They let the Democrats bend them over and ramrod them at every chance the Democrats get. And they just take it, right? They just take it, okay? They never, ever, ever fight back, okay? So like I said, if the Republican Party takes back power and you see no action on this Hunter Biden stuff, that tells you exactly how weak the Republican Party is, okay? The ball is in their court. The evidence is there. We all know that if this was Trump and there was evidence like this that he was selling influence overseas through his sons, that he would be in jail. Because best believe the Democrats want to throw Trump in jail, and the only reason Trump's not in jail is because they don't have any evidence to put him in jail, right? But the Republican Party actually has real smoking gun evidence that should throw Joe Biden and Hunter Biden in prison, and they won't pursue it because they're weak, okay? But with that being said, I hope they do. I hope they try to embarrass Joe Biden and the Democrat Party the same way the Democrats tried to embarrass Trump, okay? And I got a feeling that it's not just Joe Biden that is selling out to China and some of these other countries in the Democrat Party. I got a feeling there's a whole bunch of them, right? A whole lot of them need to be brought to justice. And maybe some people in the Republican Party as well, too, which is probably the reason why they really aren't going to do anything about this. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.